Hey there, everybody. This is Dylan Hinson, co-sports editor for the Prowler, and this is the first edition of the Coach's Show. I'm sitting down here with Coach Phillips. Coach, nice to see you. Now you guys are 7-0. Y'all beat Morrow on Friday, 58-0. Go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
It was a good team victory. We got everybody a chance to play. First team guys got on them early, scored pretty quick, and led 42-0, I believe, if I remember right, at halftime. And the second half was a good chance to get our JV guys some Friday night experience, and everybody get a chance to play a part in the victory.
Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the man, Rico Fry. 11 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Unbelievable. I'm sure it's a Panther record. He had a Panther record against McIntosh last week. Go ahead and talk about his production this year. And he's only a sophomore, so you got him for 2 more years. And talk about his production and how he's evolved since freshman year.
Well, we kind of went to a new offense this year, knowing that he had some talent and a little different game breaker type ability. And we were very successful here the first 10 years running the jet wing too. Got out of it when everybody was running the spread, and Lasky and Adam Hawley and these guys that were really good with the Auburn offense that Auburn made famous. Well, after last season, we kind of reevaluated some things we were doing and thought that Rico would be perfect in the B-back position, running the traps and the G and the stuff that we're doing with him. And, we went through an acclimation period where our linemen had to go from standing on 2-point stance, zone blocking, to they're blocking down, firing off the ball. And Rico running instead of just zone, making people miss in the hole and waiting for everything to happen. Wing T, he's got to hit it quick and got to hit a good track. And so first couple of games were kind of a learning experience, but then now he's figured it out, in which he's gone 200, four weeks in a row he's gone 200
5 weeks.
yards.
I think we said his lowest mark was 100-something. It was just crazy.
So he's hitting it, and now that he's hitting it, and once he gets past the linebacker depth, 5 or 6 yards, then he can make people miss, which he's just born knowing how to make people miss, and he's done that. And if we give him a little bit faster now, he's really going to be dangerous, because he's had a couple of plays that if he outruns our guys, they're 90-yard touchdowns.
And we looked at the stats. It looks like DeLuca got a couple more throws this week than normal. He got 6.
Yep.
Not as much, but he got a few more looks this week. And of course, he had the 2 touchdowns. What has he been like? You had a period where you weren't sure who the quarterback was going to be Satchel or Joey, but you were confident with Joey going out of spring and out of summer. How has he progressed?
Every week he gets a little better. He plays with a little bit more confidence. He's excited about getting on the field. He watches film. Our Coach Waller, he charts all of our players. He can look and see how much film they've watched on our website. He watches more than anybody else we've got. He's a student of the game. And like I say, he gets more confident each time he goes out. He's thrown some beautiful balls. That one that we didn't catch Friday night to Dion was the prettiest pass he's thrown all year. And now that Satchel's back in the mix a little bit, and Rue's another player that has really gone from JV to being probably a recruitable athlete and receiver and you throw Marcel in receiver a little bit now, and Satchel too. So we've got some weapons to throw the ball. And Joey's smart enough to know that he doesn't have to do it by himself. He just dishes it to the athletes, to the playmakers.
Right.
Get it in the playmakers' hands, and that's what he's doing.
How has this team progressed since Whitewater and Fayette?
Offensively, we're years ahead. It's a completely different team. For everybody, it was a brand new offense. So, even our formations were brand new. Everything about it was brand new. The snap count, the way we line up, it's all new, and we finally have gotten acclimated to it, and we're doing things right. There's still a lot of stuff we can fix, which we're going to try to fix some stuff today from the Friday night game that we're not very good with. Because when we play Monday's Mill in Northgate, we better be about perfect if we're going to have a chance to win.
And I hear this stat. Y'all doubled what Morrow had all game in the second quarter alone with 270-something yards. What does that stat mean to you? You've already said the offense is light years ahead from what it was. How does that stat kind of
Yeah, we had a couple of explosive plays. The play to Rue was about a 50-yard pass. Rico, if I remember right, had about a 75 to 80-yard run. The explosive plays, look, those 2 plays were 130 yards by themselves. So you get explosive plays, and it kind of makes stats. You can bend stats any way you want to, really, and that's kind of what happened. But we got some explosive players. We got some playmakers. We've gone a few years here without playmakers. The year John broke his leg and Purifoy broke his leg, and like, well, who scores now? And we just didn't have them. But thank goodness we got some horses in the stable right now.
Kind of talk about, there was, like you said, the explosive plays. There were 3 plays back to back. You know, Rico had a big run, set up Dion's touchdown, onside kick. Brandon Rue gets his first touchdown in his Stars Mill career. What was the spark that kind of drove that? Y'all were already up 27-0 at that point. What was the spark on the sideline, or maybe something you said that said, look, we're going to go out here and we're going to put the hammer on them?
Well, for whatever reason, it takes us about a half a quarter to get to game speed, game mode. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is here. I've been that way for 19 years. The first series, for example, we go out there and just drop a snap, miss 2 waggles, miss 2 passes that were kind of easy and open, and just didn't look sharp. And it's, for whatever reason, that's the way we start. And it's almost like we got to get hit in the mouth before we start playing. And then once we got hit in the mouth, we started playing. We got some big play. Melvin had the pick 6. And that kind of got us, that just got the energy level up and got us going. And that's kind of, we just kind of fed off the defensive play. Because the defense is really not getting a lot of press, but they're 100 times better than they were last year.
And yeah, definitely praise to the defense. They stopped Morrow most of the second half, and even in the first half, and they kept the shutout, of course. As we're kind of wrapping up here, you got Monday's Mill this week, big game, of course, and then the one that everybody's going to be watching, the Northgate game. What are you telling your team this week to kind of prepare them for that? You already talked about it Friday. All of summer work, all of spring, right here, this is the moment.
Yeah.
What's your message this week?
Well, this week we'll talk about, everybody wants to talk about historically, Rico breaking records. Well, where are the records coming from? We've got 19 years of records now. And this team has a chance to rewrite their own history. 5 years from now, what are we going to say about this team? And that's kind of the challenge. Is they get tired of hearing about the 2010 team, which I don't blame them. But maybe now they can do something that team didn't do, and they'll just keep playing well and keep fighting, keep working together, and because that's kind of where we are. We want to make sure we emphasize the fact we're playing Monday's Mill this week, and then our next season, which will be the next week, we'll play Northgate, and we'll just at this point we're treating this like a playoff game, because more or less it is. If we win this, we are guaranteed another home game, whether it be the region play-in game or a state playoff game. We're guaranteed another home game, so that's. From here on out, we're in the playoffs.
Coach Phelps,
Yep.
It was a pleasure.
Yep.
Please join us next week as we interview another high-profile Stars Mill coach.
All right.